Yes, let's continue discussing SA 720. SA 720 we will discuss. So what is 720? Ayyo, very simple. I told already. Like one doubt is what is the difference between emphasis and key audit matter? Very simple. Financial statement, some point is there. I want you to read that. What should I do? Highlight it. I did audit so many issues I have in audit. Some important issues is there. I just want to explain you what I did in that. Clear? That's it. I want to talk about division of responsibility. Other matter paragraph. So what is other information? SA 720. SA 720, what it says, auditor responsibilities relating to other information. Auditor's responsibilities relating to other information. Other information means other information means information presented in annual report other than financial statements and audit report. Information contained in annual report other than financial statements and audit report. The standard is so simple. What are they asking is, company is giving annual report. The company is giving annual report. For example, I will show you Tata Motors itself, or else Reliance is there? No. Yeah, Tata Motors is there. I'll just show you this. You see, this is the Tata Motors annual report. You see, this is the Tata Motors annual report. And you see, what are the contents of this annual report? So many is there. Some board of directors, word from intro from board of directors, business segments they explained. They explained about growth responsibility. They explained about building some growing responsibilities, people and culture. They're explaining about their subsidiaries. They're explaining about statutory reports like management discussion, corporate governance, so many. And finally, they are coming to financial statements. And financial statements contains audit report also. Financial statements, along with that only immediately audit report also will be given. Now, which means the Tata Motors annual report contains financial statements and audit report in a document that contains other information. In a document that contains other information. Now, you see here in Tata Motors, they are giving how much sales they are saying. You see, profit consolidated. What are they? Consolidated. They sold 13,80,000 cars. Some 13,80,000 cars. Group revenue, oh my God, 4,37,000 crore they said in the financial highlight. Profit before tax 31,800 crore. R&D spend so much. Like some financial information and all they gave, right? Okay, let me do one thing. They are saying 31,807, right? PBT, consolidated PBT. Let us see in the financial statement also the same is included, consolidated P&L. Okay, I'll go and see consolidated P&L. Just a minute. So this is consolidated balance sheet, consolidated P&L. Correct only. Profit for the year, how much they mentioned? 31,806.75. They said 807. That's okay, not an issue. Okay, fine. Which means other information is consistent with financial statements I audited. Correct? What if in the PBT there, for example, PBT in the highlights, no, they mentioned 40,000 crore. Immediately a reader who reads this annual report fully, he will get it out. They are saying 40. Here auditor said 31 is correct. Which is right? What auditor did not verify that? Or management is correct? Who they'll get a doubt, right? To address this only 720 standard is brought. To address this only 720 standard is brought. What is the auditor's responsibility for other information? You are not responsible to give opinion on other information. What is your responsibility? What the standard says? The standard says your responsibility is to read the other information. You see, what is the responsibility of auditor? Audit procedure. Auditor first obtain what are all the documents comprises annual report. Obtain. When you should obtain? By the way, after date of audit report. Prior to the date of audit report. Final version you obtain. If at all full annual report, that and all documents are not ready by the time you are giving audit report, get a written representation that before you publish the document, give it to me. representation. So they need to give a promise that, sir, don't worry, right now other information is still going on. First you give it, sir, we have to submit to holding company for consolidation. First you give me. So company, I gave audit report with a written representation that management will give me other information once it is available before publishing to third parties. Fine. What auditor shall do? You shall read other information. Okay, reading it. What you need to check? Whether there is a inconsistency between other information and financial statements. I read entire the 300 pages document to figure out where and all financial figures and all they spoke, where and all business issues and all they spoke. Are they contradicting with the matter that is shown in the financials? Are they inconsistent or not? I will figure out. And not only that, my objective is to consider, is there any inconsistency between other information and auditor's knowledge? Maybe when I'm reading the annual report only, I got to know company future plans and all. My knowledge will get updated, right? Sometimes I may get to know about company subsequent events by reading other information. By reading other information, I will get to know subsequent event. So I may have to modify the audit procedure. So by reading other information, identify whether other information and financials are they inconsistent. Identify whether other information and your knowledge about the company, is it inconsistent? Further, be alert. Be alert that other information not related to financials are materially misstated. See whether other information is materially misstated. That is the objective of the standard also. You see, objective of the standard. The auditor has to consider whether material inconsistency between other information and financials. Is there any inconsistency between other information and your knowledge? To respond. Okay, you found some inconsistency. Some inconsistency is there. Inconsistency means what? Other information, financials are not matching. Now you need to determine which is right. Is other information right or financials are right? Which is misstated you should. So to respond appropriately when auditor identify inconsistency, is that inconsistency resulting into material misstatement in financials or is it other information which is wrong? Report accordingly. Then report accordingly. That's the objective of the standard. So what auditor has to do? By the way, is other information reading? No. What is your responsibility for other information? Is it a separate assurance engagement? Am I providing any assurance on other information? No. In the context of my audit of financials, while giving opinion on the financial statements, I'm just reading other information to know whether any inconsistency between there or inconsistency between my knowledge and the other information. Only for that reason, only for that limited purpose. I am not reading other information to provide assurance on that. No. I am not giving any assurance on other information. By the way, is there any obligation on the auditor to verify accuracy of the other information? No, we are not. Only inconsistency there or not, I will check. If inconsistency is there, if I feel other information is apparently misstated, I will tell the management to rectify. If they don't rectify other information which is containing material misstatement, what I will do? Modified opinion, huh? Modified opinion, I will give the financial statements are materially misstated. Here financials are true and fair. Other information wrongly they are presenting. I should highlight that in other information section of the audit report. I should highlight that in the other information section of the auditor's report. For example, you see Tata Motors. This is you see other information they presented. What they presented? The side heading can be either other information or side heading can be any suitable matter. They gave definition itself. Information other than financial statements and auditor's report. This is the definition of other information. Side heading they use definition itself. Now tell me who is responsible for other information? Board of Directors is responsible. What other information will contain? Corporate governance report. Other information includes annual reports, annexures to annual report, but does not include financials. What you have to do? Our opinion is only on standalone financials. That does not cover other information. In connection with our audit, our responsibility is what? Read other information, identified above whatever other information. If at all they are inconsistent, we need to respond appropriately as per the standard. Based on the work we performed, the other information we obtained, we concluded that there is a material misstatement of other information. We are required to, okay, like responsible we are saying. If at all, based on our reading, based on procedures as per 720, if at all we identify any material misstatement in other information, we are required to report the fact. This is our responsibility. What auditors are saying ultimately, we have nothing to report in this matter. So indirectly what SBI auditors are saying, other information, everything is true and fair. This is the reporting requirement in case of other information. This is there for you as a question. You see, the auditor has to give audit reporting requirement. What is the audit reporting? A statement that management is responsible, identification of other information, and statement that prior to the date of audit report you should get it. A statement that opinion does not cover other information, description of responsibilities, and a statement that auditor has nothing to report. Understood? Suppose if material misstatement is there in other information, what auditor has to do? If material misstatement is there in other information, suppose if material misstatement exists in other information, request management to correct it. If management does not correct it, and concluded that there is an uncorrected misstatement in other information, a statement that describes the misstatement in other information section describe clearly what is the mistake happened. Suppose what if after reading other information you concluded that a material misstatement exists in the financials. After reading other information, you got to know that financials are materially misstated. You investigated, you found it's a mistake in financials, not in other information. Then you will modify the opinion. 705 procedure will apply. That's it, the standard. Clear? But in the standard, no. Suppose no, if misstatement is identified before date of audit report, because no entire other information is given to you. So you identified material misstatement in other information before audit report date. Ask management to rectify. If they don't rectify, you modify your audit report in other information section what mistake it is. Suppose you gave audit report where other information para you said nothing to report. You gave report. Now management gave corporate governance report to you. Sir, this is the final report, sir. As per your declaration, we gave you. Now other information contains material misstatement I found. Audit report I already gave. No, I'll take back. I'll take back the audit report. I'll modify the other information. That section. Suppose if audit report is already issued to the shareholders, everyone, without my consent, I will take appropriate action as per 560. As per 560, whatever I have to take, that action I will take. We will discuss at 560 that point. That 720 is over. Understood the concept? All of you? Sorry? I'm not getting it. Louder. Not getting. Bit louder. Okay. You didn't get evidence, so you are giving disclaimer of opinion. Later on. Sorry. Evidence there in other information. You gave a disclaimer of opinion on the financial statements. For what? Can you please narrate it? Okay. How come it will be? How come it will be, first of all? Hypothetical situations don't create. Unnecessarily you will confuse. Getting it? Yes. No, it's okay. Sometimes curiosity will make us to think over. So that's okay, not required. If evidence is not there and you give a disclaimer of opinion, and later that evidence is available in other information, what to do? I'll take back audit report. Evidence is there. If at all there evidence like this, I will see is it sufficient for my audit or not. And again I will modify the audit report, give unqualified opinion. This is. But do you think this will happen? No, obviously not, right? Yes. Okay. That's it. First of all, question itself is wrong. Why, you know? How come I give opinion before reading other information? You're getting it? So how come I give audit report before reading other information? So technically it is not. If at all we have to give audit report before we read other information, before other information is available, we will ask a representation from the management that other information is made available to me. But in a case of disclaimer, do you think auditor will have a cordial relation with the client? Obviously not. Auditor will give disclaimer of opinion only when the relationship between the auditor and client is not cordial, it is not completely disrupted. So this discussion, this situation itself will not arise. So 720 is also over. Next. So now let's again go back to the auditor report. So other information section is also over. Other information section is also over. Then what else we have in various sections of audit report? Then you should tell about responsibilities for financial statements. You should tell people that who are responsible for financials. What is their responsibility? They are responsible for preparing financials as per applicable framework. Their responsibility is to maintain internal control so that frauds and errors are prevented. They are responsible to give me complete access to books and records, provide me additional information, provide me access to people. You need to tell, right? People, what is the responsibility of management? You should tell. Then you tell about your responsibilities. Auditor responsibilities are broadly categorized into three parts. Primary responsibilities, responsibilities under various standards on auditing, communication related responsibilities, and that's the audit responsibility section. Then report on legal and regulatory requirements. By the way, I already covered how auditor responsibility section gets affected when auditor gave disclaimer of opinion. I already explained it in 705 discussion. Then report on legal and regulatory requirements, that I will get back later. Signature of the auditor. Then finally auditor has to sign the report and he should place the signature. Yes or no? Ordinary necessity. When you are signing, you should sign in the personal name of the member. If at all you are a partner in a partnership firm, you have to sign in personal name and represent as a partner of so and so partnership firm. Mention FRN and MRN, all that. Yes or no? Then date of the auditor report. The date of auditor report cannot be earlier than the date on which you completed the audit. It cannot be earlier than the date on which you completed audit procedures. It cannot be earlier than the date on which you obtained sufficient appropriate evidence about the financial statements. Yes or no? It cannot be earlier than the date of approval by the board of directors. Approval means what? They are signing balance sheet and P&L saying this is what I'm going to issue to the public. On that only you should give audit report, right? So which means you cannot sign audit report before they approve it. So date of audit report shall be on or after date of approval, on or after date of obtaining sufficient appropriate evidence. Then UDIN. I hope every one of you know the significance of UDIN. I'm not covering. For all attestation, certificates, reports, whatever you do with effect from 1st July 2019, UDIN is mandatory. For all certificates, attestations, reports, whatever you issue, today UDIN is mandatory. That's it. Now, report on legal and regulatory requirements. What is it? Report on legal and regulatory requirements. Just a minute.